Welcome into another episode of the Laser Bros podcast. We're your hosts, Logan and Luke Lazarchik. Today, Friday, October 3rd, 2025. We are back after week 4 of the NFL season. Week 4 took a lot of players out for it. Seems like we had a lot of injuries this past week, and it's kind of overflown into this week. We're having a lot of players, like I just said, suffered season ending injuries or now have to miss additional weeks because of injuries. So week 4 was kind of a bummer in that case of just seeing a lot, and there's a lot of star players that got hurt as well. So it was kind of week 4 was kind of a bummer.
Yeah. No, yeah, it kind of sucked when that happens. And now, I mean, there's some good games. There's some good stuff, but I mean, I don't think there's a ton. We had a good start to week 5, so that's good at least.
Yes. Last night we had a good Thursday night game. We'll be talking about that game as well, as in addition to the week 4 games that we will cover and the week 5 picks we will make. But before we start, just want to remind you to subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, leave any comments, leave a like on the channel. We appreciate it and listen to it wherever you get podcasts. So without further ado, let's move into the week 4 recap. And we're going to start with the Eagles-Buccaneers game. Really a game, it was basically a tale of two halves. Eagles jump out to 24-6 lead. I believe their first touchdown was a blocked punt that was returned for a touchdown. They took that, and then they scored. I think was it 24-6 a half, or I believe that's what the score was at halftime.
I don't know if it was that much.
To be honest, it probably was because Eagles didn't really do anything offensively in the second half. It may have been 24-6. I may be slightly.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, 24-6. They score 7 points in the second half. The Buccaneers almost come back. I think, late interception from Baker Mayfield basically shut the door on the comeback. But the Eagles, it's basically been the same thing, except it was in reverse this time. The first half, the offense looked pretty decent, even though A.J. Brown was still not involved. I believe he had 1 target, 0 catches. Devontae Smith was a non-factor in the first half. The Eagles, they feel like last year's Chiefs team, but they really don't have any excuses for this type of production.
No, yeah, they really do feel like last year's Chiefs team, but they're, it's not like I feel like they're more capable than last year's Chiefs. I mean, I don't really know what to think about them. They're winning regular season games. I mean, do I think that I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl like this. It's the same way I felt about the Chiefs, but I kind of just feel like in terms of judging them in the regular season, I just know they're going to win a lot of games. I just know that they're going to win games, and it's going to kind of piss you off a little bit because you're like, they didn't deserve to win that, and they're going to win it. Even if you're a fan for the team, or you're just going to think that's stupid. They shouldn't have won that game, but they're just going to continue to do that, and then they're going to be much more interesting come playoff time, like their first game. I mean, if they're the 1 seed, I'm not surprised. First game, or they could be a 2 seed facing like who knows who's a 7 seed at this point. Anyway, it could be the Cowboys, and it's just like
they win, but
it could be. They have like
best I don't think they have the defense to.
I know, but their defense turns into okay, and then who knows what can happen. It's not like the depth's been great at the moment. It's only 4 games in. But so they're just kind of boring. They're just boring. It's like last year's Chiefs. Kind of suck because the Chiefs last year were boring.
So it's like the Chiefs, but Chiefs, Eagles, they don't have any excuses to have this. They don't. Like I said, you have all the players at your disposal. There's no injuries. There's no learning curves for any players. Like Chiefs last year, Rashee Rice was out after week 4. Xavier Worthy was a rookie. They rotated 4 different left tackles throughout the season. It was just you had no running game. Like the Eagles, there's no excuse for what they're producing. And like Jalen Hurts this week, 0 completions in the second half. Is it time to have a Jalen Hurts conversation? Or are you still on the side of that, system OC? Which I feel like that's been the story we've heard the last like 3 seasons when they go through these spurts of just being pretty inept on offense.
Yeah, but he won the Super Bowl and he hasn't lost since. So I'm not doing this whole Jalen Hurts thing. It's just like, Could you be right? Sure. Is it worth it in my opinion? No, because he just won the Super Bowl, had a great Super Bowl, and he's 4-0. So it's kind of just like, he's getting the job done. And sometimes, it could be the playoffs we could talk about it, but right now he's 4-0 post-Super Bowl. He's won his last, at minimum, 7 games. So in my mind, it's not that worth it to me.
Okay. I think, and we don't have a discussion, but like my final just comment on this is we've heard quarterbacks in the past, win games, and they weren't that like I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is a bad quarterback, but I just do not see him as
Well,
high
yeah,
regarded
but
as some
okay, but
people
is
are.
that really does it need? I don't think it needs to be a topic of conversation in sports that much. I mean, he just won the Super Bowl 2 years before. He had a great Super Bowl performance, and he hasn't lost yet. It's like I don't think there should be any obsession about Jalen Hurts. He's kind of a non-story to me. It's like he's just they're winning games.
On the other side, the Buccaneers injured coming into this game, more injured as they lead this game. Bucky Irving out this week. There's reports that he's going to miss even additional time. He could miss a couple
Not
more
good for my
weeks.
fantasy. Not good for my fantasy.
Buccaneers, like that. It seems like it's the same story as last year, where it feels like Atlanta should win that division, and they should take advantage of this opportunity. Do you see it the same way? Do you think Buccaneers are capable of? They're not in a hole per se. They're actually winning the division as we're talking right now. But are these injuries going to be too much to overcome? Are they going to pile up too much, or do you still? I mean, right now it's probably them or Atlanta wins the division. You probably give a slight edge to Buccaneers because they just keep figuring out ways to win games.
I mean, I know they have a couple year-long injuries, but if it's week 14 and you have offensive core of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Mika Ibuka, Tristan Wirfs as your left tackle, figure out the rest. You have Bucky Irving with Rashad White, and you have Kate Otten, and you have Baker Mayfield. I said, or Baker Mayfield ready. But if you have that week 14 and you're tied for the division, it's like, we're fine. So the fact that none of these injuries, I know they lost Concy and their other linemen, but
yeah, and their right guard and Cansey.
Yeah, but it's going to be week 10, week 12, week 14, sometime then, and they're probably going to have everyone back, and it's like, okay, well now this is one of the best offenses of football again. So, I mean, the Falcons should be able to take advantage. I can't predict the Falcons anymore. I don't know what they even are at this point, but I'd still take the Bucs. I mean, it's been rough, but they're 3-1. They could have beat the Eagles. Baker has to throw his first pick of the year to lose to them. I mean, I feel pretty good about the Bucs, even though they're dealing with all these injuries.
Let's move. Any final remarks? I know you spoke.
Bucky Irvin's messed up my fantasy week. It's not cool. It's not cool.
Next game, Giants against the Chargers. They hosted the Chargers at MetLife. Jackson Dart's first career start. They pull out the upset. The Chargers lose another starting offensive lineman. Joe Alt suffers a high ankle sprain. Malik Neighbors suffers a season-ending ACL tear, and he tore, I believe, another ligament. So it's additional damage to the knee. We're not Giants fans or anything like that, but it's kind of disappointing that first game Jackson Dart there. They have the core where they're actually a very intriguing team moving forward. You have Dart, you have Abdul Carter, you have Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns Jr., Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatabo. You really have a nice core there. And now for the rest of the season, we're not going to see that quarterback grow with Malik Neighbors. We're not going to see that connection for the rest of the season. And then Chargers, I mean, are they in trouble? Now down their top two tackles, and Mekhi Becton's also out.
Well, yeah, they need Becton back. And maybe even with Becton, you may just be like, hey, I know you're really good at guard and you're bad at tackle, but do you want to try tackle again?
Well, I don't think you put him at left tackle. I think it'd be right tackle they put him at.
I don't know. Is Pipkins is still hurt? I mean, I feel like you may have to put him at left tackle if Pipkins is out. I mean, just try it. Just be like Becton. You got better with the Eagles. You've played well early on at guard. Guard is probably where he's meant to be, but you need that tackle. And I mean, it's for the Giants. It's about Dart's development, and this hurts, but I feel like he'll be okay. I trust it for some reason. The Scatabo Dart thing is awesome. Each week, I'm just like, Cam Scatabo should be a Chief. But for the Chargers, yeah, it's tough. You had such a great start to the year, even without Slater, and now it just feels like just one thing after another.
Yeah, it's we're Chiefs fans, so and you never want to see injuries, of course. But it's like, okay, Chiefs, this is something you can take advantage of. But yeah, it was really a missed opportunity for Chargers, and we talked about it last week. I think if the Chargers win all the games that they should win, I think that they could easily win the division. And when I say easily, it's not by a wide margin, but they already have the games in place in hand that they've won. But now you're out your two tackles. Defensively, it's not a great roster defensively. Very good coaching. But are you now – and I believe did you have Chiefs winning the division or Broncos winning the division before the season started?
I had Chiefs, but I had Broncos at the 5.
Okay. after the first 2 weeks, I'm assuming you kind of were wavering off those Chiefs
I
division, or
mean,
were you?
yeah, I was wavering off Chiefs division for sure, and obviously the Chiefs game changed a lot.
Yeah.
And now I'm in the point where I still think the Chargers could do something if they
Okay.
maintain.
That's what I was going to ask you.
But
Is
I
do you think the
kind
Chiefs
of
winning
like
the
I'm
division now?
I'm kind of like 40% Broncos, 40% Chiefs, 20% Chargers. It's kind of where I'm
Yeah,
at.
it's just tough for Chargers, man. It seems like they really can't catch a break, even when they take advantage of everything in front of them. In the first 3 weeks, they still can't take advantage of it. And Justin Herbert really wasn't that good this game. He threw a couple of interceptions. Quinn Johnson another touchdown. I don't know how sustainable that's going to be, by the way, throwing all these touchdowns. And for me, I think the Chargers have to shift their philosophy a little bit. I think they're going to have to run the ball a lot more. Justin Herbert's taking way too many hits. I think he's been sacked 7 times the last 2 weeks, and he's taken double-digit hits over that time as well. I think they need to start leaning on the run game with Hampton a little bit more. And that was what they were last year. They're a run-heavy team, and then you let Justin Herbert, pick defenses apart. But right now he's averaging 40 pass attempts a game, and I don't think that's going to be sustainable for his health. And I think he's capable of doing that, but circumstances now with injuries, and you have a really good running game, I would shift that to the running game.
No, yeah, and you're up at halftime to the Giants. Were you up at halftime? No, you're down, but you're only down by 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Hampton can't have only 12 carries.
And he had 12 carries for 125, I believe. Is that what his or 128 or something like that?
128.
Yeah. He's explosive back. They probably need to find an established RB2 behind him because you don't want you don't want to go all the way back on the other side of the spectrum and overwork Hampton. He's a rookie, but you don't want to give him 30 carries a game. They need, this offense needs to be well balanced. It's gone way too pass heavy, and I love Justin Herbert, but it's gone way too pass heavy in my opinion.
Agreed.
And then Giants, non-playoff team. It's like you said, this year is basically about the growth of Jackson Dart, and hopefully the ownership kind of gives Brian Dable and some time with this because I'm not expecting him to win many games this year. Just
the Dable thing is interesting. I don't know how many games he has to win, especially without Neighbors now.
Well, yeah, it's like if they view this year as trying to win, that could screw up the you need to think a long picture about this. Not,
I mean, but I don't think it really changes anything. I think they're going to coach the same because you try to win every game. I don't think there's going to be anything with that. My thing is more about end of the season. If he wins 4 games, I feel like he's fired. If it's 5, I feel like he's likely fired. If it's 6, I'm like, okay, now it's like 50-50. So he's I don't know, but they're probably, let's say Daniel Jones wins 12 games, and they're like, Dable, he made him look really bad except for that one season. Now he's the 3 seed. So I think that's an interesting long-term discussion on what happens to him.
Let's move to another AFC West team, this time the Chiefs. Statement win against the Baltimore Ravens. You went to this game. You got to see in person how the Chiefs looked. You also got to see in person how bad the Ravens' defense is without multiple pieces along that defensive line and secondary. You got to see the all-22, basically, from that point of view. Chiefs, though, a lot of people, including ourselves, and usually I pick the Chiefs. I try to pick the Chiefs as much as possible. Sometimes I let my bias, and I don't think I'm like a super biased Chiefs fan, but sometimes I let it, get into me when I make these picks. And if it takes me to pick the other team and Chiefs win, I'll do it every week. But the Chiefs, I've talked about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson against the Chiefs. I really should have picked the Chiefs in this game. Kansas City 6-1 against Lamar in his career. And what I said last week about the Ravens, they did it again. They gave Derrick Henry the first drive, and then after that, really just spots here and there using him. He had 8 carries, 42 yards, and that's over 5 yards per carry, and they just stopped using him and went to Justice Hill. Their offensive game plan becomes very predictable. And this game, the first drive, they marched down the field, scored. They really didn't have to change their offense and what they were doing.
After the first drive, I was like, oh, boy, here we go. And then Chiefs drove down, got a field goal. And then that pick happened. That was a nice pick by Chenal. But, the defensive line is terrible. It is bad. It is bad.
Madubuike, man.
Yeah, he's better than we all thought. And, they're so hurt right now. And then that was a bad Lamar game. He didn't look good. It was just – it's like trying to, balance – because I was like, the Chiefs, they look better than I thought they would. Worthy would look nice. Mahomes was great. Defense had some nice moments. And so, like, I'm feeling much better about the Chiefs. I hope nothing bad, because my thing's been the vibe. And, like, after they wore the Rashee Rice shirts, it's like, let's not mess up the vibe anymore. Nothing to do that. And we'll maintain and be okay. But for the Ravens, I mean, I think there's a chance they're done. There's a chance they're done. I mean, without Matt
Next 2
Buke,
weeks you got Houston and the Rams.
Houston's not that
Really,
good.
they're only, well, yeah, but still a really good defense.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush against an elite defense.
Mm-hmm.
The only saving grace is that division for AFC North is just not. And I know Pittsburgh's 3-1 right now. I still don't fully believe that they're gonna, keep doing what they're doing. But maybe they only need to win 9-10 games if Ravens are this beat up. There's a good chance the Ravens are 1-5 after the first 6 weeks. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
It's more like the long term. Like, they could lose these next 2 games and then they can go on this winning streak. But it's like, that defense is so bad.
No, and Kyle Hamilton was added to injury report. I don't know if he's playing this week now.
It sounds like
I think he suffered an injury in was it Wednesday's practice, or it was either Wednesday or Thursday he suffered an injury in practice.
I think this isn't their year. I'm just gonna unless if Cooper Rush doesn't beat Houston, yeah, good for him, and that'd be pretty cool, just for the everyone's. But I just think it's not gonna be their year. I don't think it's their year, and that's kind of gut. It's not like a bold gut prediction, but just based off what's happening, I don't like it.
And in terms of the Chiefs side of things, I mean, I was never super worried about the Chiefs. It was get through week 3. Like, if you lose week 3, you're 0-3. It's like, okay, that's a bit worrisome. But once you get past this week, for me, it was just about surviving these first 6 weeks and getting Rice back. I was pleasantly surprised at how effective Xavier Worthy was, because he's playing the fully torn labrum. I really thought he was going to get limited snaps his first game back, kind of like a gadgety role. I wasn't expecting – he had a 32% target share in this game. Really wasn't expecting that much involvement for him. But this is why I don't really ever worry about the Chiefs over the years when they have these slow starts. They figure things out. They tend to figure things out. And unlike last year, you're getting Rashee Rice back, which I mentioned a few times last week. Like, the Chiefs – things have to be looking up for them, even from not even like a biased side of things, but like from a objectively speaking, you're about to have your full complement of weapons back from Mahomes, and the defense looks really good. Even though I do worry that they have to over blitz because they can't really generate any pressure with their front four.
I think Karloff got another sack, and he's really good at the hustle sacks, but he is not you need a sack.
He's not like a Jared Verse or somebody that's gonna just really create their own.
Of all the people, Jared Verse is good.
The Rams game from last night was just in my head, so I was just thinking of a.
I mean, he's not a guy. Christian. I mean, defense is still pretty good. Secondary is really good, which is nice.
No, that third rounder the Chiefs took Noel Williams.
Noel Williams, yeah.
He's been a very good corner, and they got him third round.
They have a good eye for that. So I think now you can say the Chiefs are the second favorites in the AFC. I feel like you got to keep Buffalo, even though Chiefs beat them last year. I feel like you got to keep Buffalo.
Oh, you always
do.
And
then Chiefs are behind them.
Even though not Chiefs, Buffalo, I know they beat Saints, and maybe they're just overlooking the Saints and playing down to their competition. But they're kind of the same as the Ravens. Not a great defense. They have injuries on defense. That's the Chiefs feel Buffalo. You put them at 1 right now, obviously, because they're 4-0. They play the best totality. But when you kind of look at the rosters and all that, the Chiefs, I do think Chiefs, Ravens, who are now, marred by injuries, and Buffalo, I would argue that Chiefs have the best complete roster, even though right now I would still put Buffalo at the top as a favorite right now, if we're speaking about week 5, 2025 of the NFL season.
Yeah. I still think it's close, but yeah. Probably Chiefs better overall roster.
And it really does feel like we're on collision course for Chiefs Buffalo, barring any significant. Because once you take Ravens out of the equation, who's really
there's no Bengals.
Who's really that threat to? I mean, are we talking about the Colts as the third best team in the AFC right now?
I still think Broncos are right there. I think Broncos could easily be 4-0. I still think Broncos are a real threat. So I'd probably put Broncos 3, Colts 4. I don't even know who's 5.
I'm trying to think of just teams.
Chargers? No. I honestly think the Patriots should have beat the Patriots. I think at the end of the year could be up there. I think Drake May has been balling.
I think Chargers need to make go after a Trey Hendrickson or something. They got to make a move, I think, because right now it's just like, and I don't know
if the tackle play is just terrible. I mean, I guess you are getting alt back. Yeah, they're in a tough spot. I don't know. The defense playing great. You don't need to trade for defense. Their defense good. I guess you could try to take it over the top with like a Trey Hendrickson, who, if he's a Bengal by week, I don't know when deadline is 9, then that's ridiculous. He needs to be gone.
Oh, he should be traded. I mean, even with him, that defense is terrible. But yeah, Chiefs, I think you can now confidently say that they are back where they've always been the last, ever since Mahomes has been the starter. And I think now, once you get Worthy, Rice, all these pieces back, Thornton's contributing, Juju Smith-Schuster looked good when the middle of the field opened. I don't know, Chiefs offense, I think, could return back to not the Tyreek Hill days, but like back to that 2021 form where Mahomes won the MVP. Mahomes won the MVP, and the weapons were worse, in my opinion, than they are now. So, So I think Chiefs, I'm pretty confident in them. I think if they can win Monday night, which we'll talk about here shortly, and then somehow beat the Lions in Week 6, I think it's wheels up on Chiefs' confidence. But yeah, Ravens, I'm not. Just final remark for me. I don't think their season's done yet, but I'll have to see how they look these next 2 weeks, and I think it's gonna be very Derrick Henry centric. You may see him get 60 carries combined in the next 2 weeks. So
maybe,
yeah. Anything else you wanted to say about that game before we move to Thursday night?
No.
So we were going to originally talk about the Rams game from last week and 49ers game from last week, but we're already talking about them in this game, and a lot has changed from last week to this week in terms of injuries and all that. 49ers, 8.5-point underdogs in this game. Mac Jones, I think he threw for 342 or was it 289 or 342? 342 and 3. 49ers, they won this game. Rams really choked the game at the end, in my opinion. They fumbled at the goal line. Kyron fumbles. The 4th and 1 play was not that good of a play call. I don't think it really put the offense in any area of advantage. But you got to give 49ers credit. They're basically, they have all 3 of their starting receivers are out. Kittle is out. Purdy's out, which I do want to talk about that a little bit. Not starting controversy, but I do want to talk about that a little bit. But they win. No Nick Bosa. You win a divisional game on the road, which I guess it kind of felt like a 49ers game, though. You hear the 49ers fans a lot more. But I don't know. What was your main takeaway from this game? And are there any extra concerns,
I just think there's no concerns. This is a division football.
Okay.
No, but this is division football. Like, this happens. Then they had 2 fumbles that were weird. This is division football. Not every game has a concern. This is just the Niners played really well. Kyle Shanahan, this is why I haven't doubted them, because it's Kyle Shanahan, and no matter what we want to say about his late game and all that, if their special teams is working, they can beat anyone. And, I mean, last week was a mess. I don't think Purdy should have played. I think it should have been Mac. Purdy should have rested more. But I just think it's just Kyle Shanahan's so good. I don't really have any thoughts on the Rams. I think their offense is so really good. They kind of choked, and their defense wasn't as great as I thought in that game. But that's my takeaway. Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh does enough on defense even without Bosa. It's one of the most impressive wins of the year.
Yeah, I was impressed. The Rams, I think their front seven's pretty good. Like, their pass rush is pretty good, but their secondary.
Yeah,
I mean, anybody can go off on secondary. I mean, you had Donnie Mitchell last week step in and should have had a much bigger game than he did. But I don't know. Like, Kendrick Bourne had over 100 yards in this game. Demarcus Robinson was serviceable.
Great for a dynasty team.
Yes, Tonjes was good. I mean, the Rams, I think the only concern I have for the Rams is the secondary. I think everything else is pretty much in place there. 49ers, still banged up. Mac Jones was really hurt last night. You can tell he was playing through stuff. He was even, throwing up on the sidelines at one point after a hit. But, he got it through. 49ers, they paid Brock Purdy this offseason. If they had not paid Brock Purdy, let's just say, like, in this scenario, they didn't pay Brock Purdy. Is there a controversy going on right now?
No. Mac Jones, Larry. Okay, see, I also think this discussion is stupid. The Niners just had the most impressive win of probably the season. We're like, oh, controversy. Like, come on. It's just Niners had a really good win. Mac Jones won. I think that.
No, but I think the discussion is they paid Purdy $50 million a year, and they've inserted Mac Jones, and he's had the
every single time the Niners have. Yeah,
But that's my
Brock
point.
Purdy.
Every time the
But
Niners have had a quarterback thing,
no,
they've
but it's
inserted a new
every
quarterback and they
time there's
step in and they
one thing about.
still. But that's the point
No,
of the
but I think the point is every time the Niners have something good happen, which is not directly Purdy, it's like, oh, was it worth the money? It's like, no, you want the quarterback consistency. Does through 5 weeks it look a little weird right now? Yes, but you want the quarterback consistency. You've seen Brock do it more. I like Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. But I think that every time it's just like, oh, now let's look at how much money they paid Brock. Like, I don't think that's the story there. I think that's like the headline story. But I don't think that's like the real story. Like, it's 5 games in the season. They just had an impressive win. Brock Purdy was hurt. Mac Jones, again, is a former, whatever the Pro Bowl is, he is a former Pro Bowler. And Kyle Shanahan wanted him for this system. So I don't think there's this, like, sure, would you rather have Mac Jones if he continues looking like this for $20 million or Brock for 50? Yeah, Mac for 20. It's $32 million difference. But there's no guarantee Mac continues to look like this. So I think that's another discussion, just overanalyzing quarterbacks and, oh, this quarterback's not playing well. This quarterback's overpaid. It's like, what about the Niners just had a very impressive win? Mac Jones looks really good. That's more of a discussion than do they overpay Brock Purdy, in my opinion.
So I think you had 49ers winning the division before the year, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. And like this game, I'm gonna pull up their schedules really quick. But I think the Rams have, like we said, they have Baltimore this upcoming or week 6. The 49ers have, they have Tampa. They're at Tampa Bay and then versus Atlanta and then at Houston. That's their next 3. So I would say pretty much winnable games. I don't know how much, like McCaffrey, for instance. I don't know how he's going to end up holding up all year. He's already post, like I think he's at 120 plus touches already this year through 5 weeks. It's just hard for me to imagine him getting through the season with this type of workload.
Hey, we didn't think they could win. I thought it was a done deal that they're going to lose. Niners, they're figuring out ways to win, and sometimes that's just all that matters. And for the moment, again, this is like, oh, you're doing this whole like if Brock win is Christian McCaffrey, like he's healthy right now. And he hasn't really limped or anything. I mean, I don't think that should be a conversation until it happens either. It's like he's doing well right now. And they're going to get a Kittle back. They're going to get a Juwan back. They're going to get a Ricky back. Or even going to get Ayuk back. So then it could be, again, it's like the thing I was saying about Tampa. It could be week 11, and it's Purdy, healthy, McCaffrey, Juwan, Ricky, Ayuk, Kittle. And you're like, dang, that's really good offense. Now you just hope they don't get injured, but I don't think you talk about it.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll see about Purdy. I mean, he has a turf toe. He aggravated it more last week. He probably will miss multiple weeks now. I wonder if he does get an IR stint after they just kind of shut him down for the next 4 weeks at least. And kind of, I don't think he'll ever be 100% healthy. Turf toe. You know, Mahomes had turf toe. It was like 2, 3, or like it was like 4 years ago. It was when they beat the Browns. In the first round, he had turf toe and he had to end up surgery, and he was playing with it throughout the entire second half of the season. And it didn't heal until he got surgery in the offseason. So I don't think Brock Purdy will ever be fully healthy. But like you said, if they can get some of these pieces back by midseason, it could look much better than it does now. Anything else before we move into our week 5 predictions?
No, I'm ready.
All right. So before we make our week 5 picks, how did you do last week in terms of money line and spread?
I mean, I still want to consider it good. Money line 8-7, spread 7-8. It's been a tough year.
Yeah. So last week I went 10-5 money line.
Oh, you finally beat me.
And then spread was 8-7. So I probably should have stuck with my go just doing cheap, and I would have a better record this past week. But I will, take a 10-5 record based on my previous weeks. But let's now shift into week 5. The first game we'll talk about, Colts versus the Raiders. The Colts are 7-point favorites in this one. I don't know if it's updated since I
skipping Vikings Browns.
Oh, excuse me. Go to Vikings Browns. That's 8:30 game. I must have typed that in earlier. Then hold on, let me scroll right now. Vikings versus the Browns. The Vikings are 3.5-point favorites in London. Dylan Gabriel making his first career start against a really tough Browns defense. Is this a game that you see the Vikings again being upset, by AFC North team?
Man, the Vikings are so hurt on the O-line. They're so hurt. What was the tweet? I sent it earlier. I should have had this ready. But, I mean, They're out. Where did I send it to?
Well, they're out 3 of their starters, if that's what you're
Yeah,
trying to
they're
say.
out. They're out Ryan Kelly, Brian O'Neill, and Donovan Jackson, and their backup center. So they're out. They're on the third string center, backup right tackle, backup left guard, and their D line's been terrible. And the Browns or O line and O line's been terrible, and the Browns have one of the best D lines and maybe the best pass rusher. And I'm taking Browns. I got Browns upset here, and this is really going against my long term Vikings stuff. But just seeing as it is in this game, their O line can't hold up, and this is one of the better defenses in football. And so I just think that's gonna. I think that's just gonna. It's gonna be, and I think Gabriel's gonna have an okay game. Yeah, I'm starting Harold Fanning in a non-tight end league. Also, my team's insanely hurt, but it's a nasty lineup. Give me Browns.
Yeah, that's gotta be tough for you to recover from. Like, you lost to me last week. It's gotta be a tough recovery of.
You got lucky, and we move on. I got unlucky. I'm 1-3. I could easily be 3-1, but we move on. We pick up the pieces where we're at. We still have Daniel Jones and Drake May as our quarterback.
I think there was about like I probably got more luck in the matchup, but I think there was luck on both sides in that matchup.
No, that's fantasy football. But that's fantasy football. But
like
in
my opinion, I don't think you should have. In my opinion, I don't think you should have been in the matchup in the first place.
Garbage time is you're disrespecting garbage.
No, I said following Sunday time.
Yeah, and Romeo Dobbs got open in the end zone. My player got hurt. I don't want to hear it. He's returning a kickoff when he shouldn't.
Yeah, he's out 8 to 12 weeks. I don't know if you saw that report. Is he still on your roster, Braylon Allen?
No.
Okay.
I have enough players hurt. And I drafted Rashee Rice, so that's just a slot taken away.
This game, I am terrified of either way. I'm going the Vikings. I am going to take the Browns to cover. I do think it's going to be an ugly game. Carson Wentz not very trustworthy, but I think, Justin Jefferson, he can make any quarterback look decent. We saw that last week. Justin Jefferson, I mean, if you pepper him with targets, he'll make you look pretty decent. Carson Wentz had over 300 passing yards last week because of that. Dylan Gabriel, I think the shift from Joe Flacco to him is pretty neutral. Dylan Gabriel, very small. I don't know how effective he's going to be. He's tiny and doesn't really move. We haven't really seen him in game action, of course, in the regular season. But I do think Vikings figure out a way to win this game. But it's going to be an ugly game. So I'll take Vikings winning, but I have the Browns covering in a defensive battle. Raiders versus the Colts. Now we'll talk about this game. The Colts favored by 7 at home. They're averaging 31 points per game at home this season. The Raiders without Colton Miller in this one and for multiple weeks. Brock Bowers again did not practice today, so he's missed yesterday and today's practices. Do we see is this a game where we see a blowout? And no Alec Pierce for the Colts, by the way.
No, yeah, and I was gonna play Alec Pierce, but then I couldn't ever put him on my IR because I already had my IR slots as Kittle and Bucky, so I picked up Harold. But yeah, I think Colts win pretty easily. Colts defense, pretty good. I still think we all know they probably could have beaten the Rams. Had some unlucky stuff with Donnie Mitchell. I was considering picking up a Donnie Mitchell, and I was just like, I just can't. If Pittman, I think practiced fully.
They expect him to play. He does.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not going to pick up Donnie Mitchell. But yeah, I feel pretty good. Colts. I have them -7.
Yeah, I have the same pick. Colts -7. Raiders, as I've told you many times, probably to an annoying level. I just don't get all the buzz around this offseason. And Geno Smith he has 7 interceptions this season. He threw 3 last week against a Bears defense that's not particularly good. And then Ashton Genty, I think the Ashton Genty blow up from last week, I think that's going to be pretty short-lived. I don't really see him. I think it's going to be a very frustrating season for Genty. And, if you play fantasy football, I think if you have Genty on your team, it's going to be a very frustrating season. So I'll take the Colts and the points. I do expect them to win it by at least 8-9 points in this game. Next game, 2 non-playoff teams, but we'll watch because, Jackson Dart, I don't know if we'll watch, but it'll definitely be a game to keep tabs on. The Saints are actually favored by 2 in this game. I think the Giants would be favored if they had Malik Neighbors, but obviously he won't be there because of the torn ACL we talked about earlier. How do you see this one playing out? Does the Giants defense, carry the Giants to victory in this one?
Saints being 2-point favorites, it feels like everyone's picking the Giants. So that's why I'm scared to pick this. This is one of those where if Saints win, I'm like, yep, should listen to Vegas. But I'm picking the Giants. They're so much more fun. Jackson Dart looked good. You got Cam Scatterbo, who I love. You have that pass rush. So while my part of me is telling me Saints are going to win because everyone's about to bet the Giants. I'm sticking with the Giants.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Giants as well. Saints, I'll give the Giants the edge at quarterback. I think the pass rush may wreck this game, and I think that, like we said before the season, Giants defense may just keep them in games that they shouldn't be in the first place. And this is a game where this is basically a pick 'em at 2 points. Saints probably favored. Neighbor's injury, they're at home. That's probably why they have the 2 points. But I'm gonna take the Giants in his defense. I don't Jackson Dart. I think they'll utilize his legs a lot more. He only threw for 101 yards last week, but he ran for 54 yards and a touchdown. So I'm going to give the Giants the edge in this one because of their defense. Cowboys versus the Jets. I'm shocked by this line. I think the Cowboys should be favored by more. The Cowboys minus 2.5 on the road against the Jets. I saw a stat earlier this week by Warren Sharp that Justin Fields is 0-25 when the other team scores 21 points, and the Cowboys are one of the highest scoring teams in the league this season. Much in part because of a bad defense, but they do still put up points.
See, again, that stat scared me because, as what you said earlier, when we were talking about how I told Logan earlier that Purdue always loses, I guess, when Taylor Swift releases album, and then you're like, well, watch them win now because it's being mentioned. Kind of feel like that with the Justin Fields stuff, but again, Dak Prescott is one of the top 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks this year so far. And I always liked Dak, and I felt like I liked Dak. I always thought he was good. I thought he got overhated because he's a Cowboy. And he's playing so well, I got to stick with Cowboys minus 2.5.
Yeah, I'll take Cowboys minus 2.5. Last week against Packers, it may have been more emotions that why they played so well in that game because of Micah stuff and all that, but they did score 40 points on the Green Bay Packers, whose defense maybe is not as good as we initially thought after week one. But he still scored 40 points against, I would say, a formidable defense at least, without CeeDee Lamb. And Jets defense, it's not a good unit. You would think with Aaron Glenn going there and, the pieces they have on defense, it would be a pretty good unit, but it's just not. And I'm not going to trust Justin Fields to consistently complete passes. Now, the Jets may turn to the run game in this one and just run the ball constantly to keep the Dallas Cowboys offense off the field. And could there be also, fatigue for the Cowboys? They played 5 quarters last week. Could that carry? And the last time they played 5 quarters when they went to overtime against the Giants, they got dominated by the Bears on the road. So could it be a game like that? I think it could be, but I'm going to take Cowboys to cover the minus 2.5 in this one as well. Next game, and this may be the most interesting game of the week. It may turn to an ugly game. Broncos at the Eagles. Eagles are 3.5-point favorites at home. This one, I'll definitely be watching this game.
Mm-hmm. I think this is where the Eagles finally lose the game. I think that they've had some luck. They're still a really good team. I think that the Broncos, even though I don't think they fully got it back, they got a lot of it back last week against a not so good Bengals team. So I think they're going to take it. I still think Broncos are a really good team. And I just think this is kind of the game. Eagles are 4-0. They probably shouldn't be. I think this is where Broncos take it. And it would be a good statement win for Bo Nix if he could get it. He looked better last week, but he could still have played a little bit better. So, yeah, I got Broncos. I feel pretty good about it. I like it. I feel like it's a good pick.
Yeah, I have my doubts about Bo Nix, and he did play well last week. I am also going to take the Broncos in this game. I just don't. The Eagles have done nothing that's impressed me so far, and now you're playing actually a really good defense in the Broncos. If you struggle and can't muster any offense in the second half against Tampa Bay's defense, which is already banged up, and you can't get anything going, I have a very hard time believing you're going to be able to do that against a Broncos defense that, although they played the Bengals last week, they did hold them to 3 points. And the Eagles, I don't know. I just have not been impressed with them at all. I think A.J. Brown, you're going to see the similar stat line, similar storyline coming out of this game for him. I think Pat Surtain, just locked down Jamar Chase. I do expect this to be a lower scoring game. I don't know. I don't have the over under on tab right now. I don't know if you're looking at it right now, but I would probably take the under on this game if it's 43.5, 44.5. But I am going to give the edge to the Broncos in this game. Next game. I think it's going to be a pretty non-entertaining game. No Tyreek Hill. Dolphins are favored by 1.5 on the road in Carolina. Chuba Hubbard's out for the Panthers. Do the Dolphins beat up on another pretty bad team and get another win?
I think it'll be close, but I'm just going to take the Dolphins. Yeah. There's no Chuba Hubbard. I think that affects stuff. I bet Mike will be kind of in his bag. But then we're going to look at it, and Dolphins are going to be 2-3. And we're like, wow. 2-3, not the worst.
Yeah, you'll say that, but it doesn't mean anything. I'll take the Dolphins as well and the points. I don't have a lot of faith in Bryce Young. The Panthers just allowed 42 points to the Patriots last week, and the Patriots are not as explosive or do not have as explosive pieces as the Dolphins do. And maybe Darren Waller scores another touchdown or two in this game as well.
That was wild.
Yes, I am going to take the Dolphins in this one. As much as I do not like their roster, I will give them the coaching edge, and have to give them the quarterback edge as well with Tua over Bryce Young. Next game, we talked about this team a lot. The Houston Texans -2 against the Baltimore Ravens on the road. Originally, the Ravens were -500 last week before the Chiefs game transpired and before all these injuries happened. No Lamar Jackson. We're not expecting him to play. You're going to be out at least seven starts on defensive side of the ball. Ronnie Stanley may not play. Is that enough for Houston to take advantage of and win?
I mean, I was going to pick Houston before. Like, I thought they were plus odds, like on Sunday or Monday. It's like, oh, that's the bet. Didn't do it. Should have. See, I'm sticking with Houston. Houston -2. I mean, I feel pretty good about it because here's the thing: Stroud's not going to. I don't think he's going to get rushed much. And Nico and I think the rest is good enough. They'll take it home.
Yeah, I think when you give Stroud a clean pocket, I think I know there's discussions like, is he that good a quarterback? I do think a lot of quarterback play falls on your offensive line. If you don't have an offensive line, it's just going to be tough to navigate and tough to, just play football. I don't mean to compare to Mahomes, but Mahomes last year, no offensive line looked pretty shaky. So like for Stroud, who doesn't really move around a lot, what? You're giving me a look.
No, comparing him to Mahomes was stupid.
I said I'm not trying to. I'm comparing the situations offensive lines. Like I think, like Goff. I think if Goff didn't have an offensive line, he would look pretty similar to what Stroud's doing right now. I think Stroud's not very mobile. Kind of needs that protection. So I still think he's a pretty solid quarterback. But I'll take the Texans in this one as well. Defense will probably carry the load for them in this one, and I think C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins. I think they could actually dominate this game without secondary players. No pressure. And I think Woody Marks also makes a pretty big impact in this game as well. They made, the Texans made their first offensive, they kind of produced for the first time last week against these Tennessee Titans, who are now 7.5-point underdogs on the road at Arizona. Titans, it's going to be tough to really pick them to cover any spread, especially if it's single digits. And I know Cardinals are not that good. Do you have that same thought process, or do you think Titans actually score some points this week? They had 0 points last week.
I'm going back to the well on Titans covering. I don't love it, but again, I want to bet it. I'm going to take Cardinals win, but I'm going to take Titans to cover. It's not a very analytical bet. It's just, I kind of just think that's what's going to happen. And I think Cam Moore will have a better game. I think Cardinals will do their Cardinals stuff. They'll probably be up 20-6, and then Cam Moore will get a touchdown, 20-14. That's my bet, 20-14.
I'm not gonna. This is definitely like a stay away game. Like I have no interest in betting this game at all. There's multiple games I don't have interest in betting, but this one's just like this is the ultimate stay away game. I'm gonna take the Cardinals in the points. I don't feel good about it, but at the same time, like I don't know what the ceiling of points is for Titans. Like if you had to put a ceiling of how many points they score, I don't know. Their defense is okay. Offensive line doesn't really get any push. They don't really. Calvin Ridley's questionable for this game. He may not play. There's not anything inspirational about the Titans. Brian Callahan, terrible head coach, and I don't think Gannon's that good of a coach either. But I would give him the edge over Callahan. I'll take the Cardinals and the points in this one. I hate betting or picking Kyler Murray to cover any spread in any game in which they're big favorites.
Yeah.
Next game, a pair of 3-1 teams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 3.5. No Bucky Irving, as we've mentioned. Mike Evans not going to play. And Seattle's defense, I think it's a pretty good unit, and now you're playing a shorthanded Bucs team. Do you think Seattle takes advantage of these injuries for the Bucs?
I was pretty 50-50 looking at this game. I was going back and forth thinking about the injuries, but I think two factors is I really think Bucky's a tough loss, even though I think Rachaad White and Sean Tucker are – I don't love Rachaad White, but if you're telling me he's the backup, like, oh, he's a pretty good backup, and I like what I've seen from Sean Tucker. So I think they have something there that's good enough. But then Sam Darnold's played better than I thought he would. They're not really letting him rip it, which is probably smart because that's when he kind of messes stuff up. But he's looking good. So I'm going to have Seahawks win, and because I'm so close on it, I'm taking Bucks to cover, but give me Seattle money line.
Yeah, I'm going to take Seattle and the points. I think it's another one where they cover. I just think, like you said, they don't want Sam Darnold throwing it, but they're in a pretty favorable running matchup against this Tampa Bay defense. Like you said, no Kancey for the rest of the season. They can lean on Charbonnet. They can lean on Kenneth Walker, and they'll probably open up the play action game with JSN. And like we said, or they played Thursday night last week. They now have 10. They have extra rest going into this game at home. I like Seattle pretty comfortably in this one. Not a blowout by any means, but I do think that they could win by 6-7 points. And I think Tampa Bay has way too many injuries. And Baker Mayfield, the first 3 weeks they had all those wins were comeback wins, and they almost had another comeback win. It's gonna be tough for Baker to over. And I personally think Seattle has a very good defense. So I think it's gonna be too much for Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay to overcome. Ugly game. Lions once again. More than 10-point favorite. They were 10-point favorites last week against Cleveland. They're now 10.5-point favorites on the road against a Cincinnati team that's been outscored. What was it? 48-28. Is that 76? If I'm doing the math right. Yeah, 76-13 the last 2 weeks. Is this another game where Lions
minus 10.5. Lions minus 10.5. And within the next 100 hours, Jameis Winston better be a Bengal. That's my entire analysis.
I think it's pretty fair analysis. Similar to last week, I'm going to take Lions to also cover the double-digit spread that they were given. And Lions also drop a bunch of points on opponents even when they don't have to. So
put in trade for Jameis Winston. Trade for Jameis Winston.
So I think it's going to be another game where it's like 45 to like.
We all want to see Jameis Winston on the Bengals. I feel like everyone wants to. Just do it, please. He's a third string. Don't trade for Russ. That would suck.
Oh, I don't think anybody should trade. I don't even think a Canadian.
Even though I will say this about Russ, he would help our 2 leagues with Jamar Chase because he just chucked the ball and Jamar's coming down with some of them. He would
behind the offensive line.
He got Neighbors and Wendell Robinson to drop like 25 plus in the same game. Yeah.
Yeah. Neighbors had 2 targets, or he had 0 targets in the first half against the Chiefs. No. And that's with Russell.
This is different. This is different though. Jamar Chase is better than Neighbors. Chase maybe
that could be true, but that's still
it's a little different. I'm not saying Jamar would go nuts. I'm saying he'd do better than he's doing now.
I respectfully
he 100% would. What is he doing? He had like 60 yards now. He's catching a bomb weekly.
Yeah, I don't think that's a given. Next game, pair of teams with injuries. No Terry McLaurin. I didn't see anything about Debo today. I know he didn't practice yesterday, and I'm looking at my timeline right now on Twitter. I don't see anything about today. Chargers, we mentioned no Joe Alt, no Mekhi Becton. Jane Daniels making his first start back since a knee sprain injury. Do the Chargers take advantage of, do they actually win this week against NFC's opponent in a game that they should win? And this one is at home, by the way.
So I looked up Debo. I'm not getting too much info. I am seeing that him and Ladd McConkey are elite separators this year. Just some Ladd McConkey love right there. Saying Ladd McConkey's one of the best separators, just not getting the ball this year at the moment.
Well, he's also dropped multiple passes last week, but
yeah, he's not having a good year. But I felt very similar about this to the Bucks Seattle, and I was really going back and forth. Injuries, all this, Commanders D line is actually pretty solid. But I'm going to pick Chargers and I'm going to pick Commanders to cover. I'm not betting this game.
So last week, Commanders faced an Atlanta Falcons team that was shut out by Carolina, and they allowed 34 points on the road. And I know Mariota played, but this is more about their defense. I think the Chargers offense is going to come to life in this game. And I do think that this is going to be more of a running game for the Chargers. I expect Hampton to get 18, 19, 20 carries in this game. I'm going to take the Chargers and the points in this one. And this is, unlike you, I may actually bet this game. I may take the Chargers money line. I don't have much faith in the Commanders defense. And like I said, they allowed 34 points to Michael Penix, who was shut out by the Panthers last week. So not much confidence instilled in me in that defense. I'll take the Chargers -3. And I think this could also be a game where Ladd McConkey potentially gets going. I think because of the offensive line, you may see them throw more like shorter passes, 5 to 10 yard passes, and that's where Ladd McConkey kind of operates more compared to Quinn Johnson and Keenan Allen. Sunday night, the Patriots versus the Bills. The Bills are 8-point favorites in this one, an AFC East game. Bills were 15.5-point favorites last week against the Saints. Do they cover this line against the Patriots, who just scored 42 against the Panthers?
I had Bills covering originally, but I've been thinking about it. Bills defense, again, not playing great. Drake May is playing great if he doesn't make stupid plays. So I have Patriots covering. I think this will be a good game. I expect this to be a good game where Bills are kind of ahead the whole time, but Patriots are fight back and are still there. But in the end, Bills win. But give me Patriots cover, Bills money line.
Yeah, I think Bills win. And I have Patriots covering. I could see this going the exact opposite way, though. I could see the Bills blowing the Patriots out in this game, as well as the Patriots play last week. But I think Patriots last week really, you're facing Carolina. I don't know how much they really take away from that game. They had a lot of special team production as well. I think they had multiple touchdowns called back off of punt and kickoff returns last week as well. So they got a lot of help in their defense. Bills, I think, could cover the spread. But I think the Patriots cover the spread. I think it could be like a 7-point game at the end, maybe a backdoor cover in garbage time. But I do have Bills comfortably winning in this game. Monday night, the Chiefs at the Jaguars. I'm shocked by this line as well. The Chiefs minus 3.5. Jaguars 3-1, coming off a win against the 49ers. They forced 4 turnovers by the 49ers last week. But I do think Jacksonville's really just predicated on that defense. And the offense is really, I don't really think a non-factor when considering this game.
Yeah, I honestly think Jags defense is pretty solid, but they're getting a lot of turnovers too. They're getting a lot of takeaways. And so I have Chiefs minus 3.5. I feel pretty good. I don't think Chiefs are going to kill them, but I feel like it's going to be one of those where it's like, I could see it being like 24 to like 14, where it's like, wow, you covered 10 points, but it's not. So yeah, unless Brian Thomas, I feel like Brian Thomas is catching one stupid bomb because that's just how it goes, but I still like Chiefs comfortably to win.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville, like I said, I think their offense is built around solely Travis Etienne, and I think Chiefs have a pretty solid run defense. So I think the game plan is going to be shut down Travis Etienne as much as you can, and if you do that, the offense is really not going to be opened up. And Trevor Lawrence kind of needs a run game to just open things up in the passing game. And I think if they stop Etienne, I don't really give their passing game much of a chance with this Chiefs secondary. Chiefs secondary is a very good unit. You can play man coverage. They can blitz multiple corners. I think it's going to be a long day for the Jags. I think the Chiefs win this game pretty comfortably. Like you said, it could be a 10-point game. I think the Chiefs could score more than 24 points. I think you kind of are selling them a little bit short.
And I didn't say that was the max. I didn't say that was the max. What you said could, and I didn't say is the max. Don't say I'm selling them short. 24 is a solid score.
I think Chiefs could score another 30 in this game. And maybe I'm overreacting to the game last week, but I do think Xavier Worthy opens up a lot for this offense. And I just have no faith in Trevor Lawrence. I think he's thrown for 200. Like, he just doesn't really do it. He's going to turn over the ball. Chiefs are going to win the turnover battle in this game. This could be a blowout, to be honest with you. And Chiefs don't really blow out teams, so I would probably not take that. But I do think Chiefs win this game. Like you, I have no worries for the Chiefs in this game. So yeah, I think we agreed for the most part on most. I think we had a few differences. I know the Bucks game made a difference. Cardinals game spread
the same money line.
Yeah,
I picked Browns. I picked Browns.
That's right. You picked the Browns. Yeah, but I think for the most part, it was upsets, and then for me, I had a few upsets and then a few just teams covering pretty large spreads. So yeah, interesting. Hopefully, Week 5 is not, we don't see as many injuries. Week 4 was really ugly. I think we saw way too many injuries. But yeah, anything else before we close out? And hopefully I know you're not facing me this week, so you may get a win actually.
You got lucky. I mean, I got lucky in parts too, but my player gets hurt, we move on. I've already moved on.
No, I have too, yeah.
I have Dean Ricardo, Rashad White, and Harold Fanning about to destroy some people. So I'm ready.
That is one of the most disgusting lineups I've
Hey, sometimes it works. First year win a dynasty lineup. Disgusting. Trey Lance was our starter championship.
Well, but dynasty in our night, it's a best ball, so it's like
nevertheless, you never know.
All right, well, that will do it for our episode today. As a reminder, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment on the video, and listen to us wherever you get podcasts. But until then, we'll see you guys next week with Week 5. reactions and our week 6 picks. And we'll probably do another segment in the middle of there as well.
Peace.